Ablakwa has joined us on the Honorable. Good morning, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you're well.
Yes, I am soldiering on.
And talking about soldiering on, we're just reading the opinion of Madam Elizabeth Ohene, and this is, we don't know how to call it because she wrote it in her column and was suggesting that this is like the opinion piece that she writes in that column, even though she's board chair of Smith. I'm sure you've gone through it and the kind of issues she raised, including why did we even terminate the demonstration at the Jubilee House, that you were way off when you went there, and the fact that you are caught politicizing the matter because it's an election among others. Have you read? What's your response?
Well, let me begin by extending very warm regards to all the listeners of Radio Gold and to you and your colleagues at Radio Gold. First of all, it is important to state that there are good corporate governance practices. The Honorable Elizabeth Ohene, is she speaking on behalf of the board, the entire board, which includes the reps of organized labor, or she is speaking in her individual capacity? That is problematic, because when you are holding public office and you seek to communicate, you have to be clear. Are you presenting the position of the board? Because as we speak, on the 20th of May this year, organized labor held a press conference and told all of us that their reps on the board opposed this transaction. They didn't think it was in our best interest. They had so many problems with it. And they are shocked that the transaction progressed, and that but for my expose, they didn't know that the transaction was ongoing and was about to be finalized. At a press conference, I have a copy of the statement. We all had organized labor, and organized labor has been protesting since. So who is the Honorable Elizabeth Ohene speaking for? Is she speaking in her personal capacity, or she is speaking for the entire board? And does the entire board agree with what she's saying? Because we know that at least 4 board members who are reps of labor are speaking totally at variance, where she says that this transaction is above board, very clean, all the angels in heaven and everybody will conclude that this is a very clean deal. You know, totally preposterous claims. How come other board members do not share this view? So that is the first challenge that I have with this statement. Now let me come to
So your first challenge is whether or not this is her personal opinion, or the opinion
is
of
it
the
a
board?
personal opinion or is that of the board? Because ideally it should be a statement from the board, the SNP board letterhead, signed, and it should be an agreed position. So there ought to be a board meeting, and then the board will say that we are putting out a statement, we are vetting the content, this is what we all agree with. But that is not what we see. You are hearing Elizabeth Ohene go all out to defend this deal, and then we have had other board members from organized labor who say that they are totally opposed. They are vehemently opposed to this deal. So look at the confusion. The same board, you have one person putting out an opinion article claiming that everything is squeaky clean, and then you have 4 board members who have held a press conference with their leaders of organized labor saying that this deal stinks to the high heavens, and they have provided a list of why this deal stinks to the high heavens. They have, for example, said that they don't think it is right to be selling state assets to a minister of state. At that same press conference, they said that the parent terms have been varied and that Acheampong has been offered a sweeter deal. At that same press conference, organized labor revealed that all the hotels are being treated the same way when they don't have the same financial position, and they have a problem with that. Did the Honorable Elizabeth Ohene consult her colleague board members before putting out this article, which seeks to create the impression that this is a position of the SNIT board? Because if you read the article carefully, she kept saying that we decided that we will do this. We decided that we will implement this. And we know that we have acted above board. And we don't agree with what the Honorable Ablakwa is saying. So who are the we? Who are the we? So that is the first challenge. And that is a major challenge. Now, let's delve into the issues that she raises. I must state emphatically, Senna, that the Honorable Elizabeth Ohene deliberately avoids all the critical issues, all of them. She doesn't address even one of the fundamental issues.
Really?
One of the not even one. So let me list the issues that she has avoided, and she thinks that we will come along on this distraction, because that's what she has done. The first issue that the majority of Ghanaians are appalled about, are disgusted about, is the conflict of interest. Why should a minister of state be given these hotels when Article 284 of the Constitution is very clear? When Article 78 of the Constitution is very clear? When Article 98 of the Constitution is very clear? If SNIT had done their due diligence, they would have found out that Honorable Acheampong has not sought permission from the Speaker of Parliament to hold an office of profit, to engage in transactions of this nature. SNIT ought to have, as soon as you decided that your choice, you are going to give this to Rock City Hotel, you know that the director, the sole shareholder, the sole beneficial owner, according to the articles of incorporation, is the Honorable Acheampong. What does the Constitution say about politically exposed persons? MPs, ministers of state must subject themselves to the committee of members holding profit. They must be vetted. Those transactions must be scrutinized to be sure that there is no conflict of interest. That's what the Constitution says. And then they ought to be given a certificate. So they should have asked Honorable Acheampong, where is your certificate from the Speaker that you can engage in transactions of this nature? SNIT didn't do that. And Elizabeth Ohene is saying that angels will come and applaud her, that they have done a great job. So the conflict of interest issues, major conflict of interest issues, she does not address them at all. The Constitution breaches Article 284, Article 78, Article 98. She deliberately avoids that. Number two, the second major issue that she avoids is the business case for this transaction, the rationale, the policy imperatives, the considerations. Why did the state board decide to sell these hotels, including a profitable hotel, probably the most profitable business entity in Ghana today as we speak, Labadi Beach Hotel, which only last year, posted a gross profit of 158 million cedis, has 58.4 million cedis cash reserves in its 5 bank accounts. As we speak, only last year, they paid dividend to government of 25 million Ghana cedis. Why are you treating all these hotels as though they have the same situation, the same financial position, they are in the same category? What is the business case? What was the board thinking about? Because You see, she cleverly says that, oh, we inherited this decision. I was sworn in August 2021. This process started in 2018. But in the same write-up, you say that you decided that you will implement to the max all the decisions of the previous board. So having come to that position, what were the considerations? What handing over notes did you meet? Why did the previous board? Because remember that when this whole matter started, if you read the state statement of 19th May, they sought to create the impression that all these hotels are not doing well, they are not profitable. It was when I intercepted the financial statements of these hotels by Deloitte and published it, and Ghanaians saw how profitable Labadi Beach Hotel has become. They saw that SNIT had been lying to us all along. So the fundamental issue that Ghanaians were expecting a board chair to address, the business case, the commonsensical analysis, why they came to this position that these hotels, including a very, very profitable Labadi Beach Hotel, should be sold. Did they address that? Number three, the other major concern that Ghanaians have had is the value for money issues. Value for money. I have published the evaluation report of these hotels. SNIT's own evaluation report. And don't forget that I also published how we have spent $500,000, $491,000 on the transaction advisors to advise on this sale. The transaction advisors, after we have spent over 7 million Ghana cedis, they give you the valuation, the figures, and you are not using it. So financial loss has been caused, which if you knew you were not going to take advice from the transaction advisors, you are not going to abide by the valuation report. Why spend so much money to obtain these valuations, these reports? Now, it has emerged that you have chosen Bryan Acheampong as your preferred bidder. His offer is only $61 million. Your valuation report says this should be $121 million. That is the market value, the fair market value. That is the expression they use, fair market value. Why is it that the Honorable Elizabeth Ohene does not address this fundamental issue? Now, Senator, as we speak, the waters have further been muddied. It's been muddied, poto, as we say in Ghana, poto. Because Mr. Freddie Blay, the former chairman of the MPP, has released a bombshell. All along, MPP propagandists have been telling us that Acheampong made the highest offer. SNIT itself has been telling us that Acheampong put in the best bid, a bid of $61 million, that it was the highest. Acheampong bid more than anybody else. Now here we have it. Mr. Freddie Blay has released a bombshell that his son, remember that I exposed them, that if you read her article, she seeks to create the impression that I put out no expose, everything they were doing was out there. And that is why I keep reminding listeners of what I have exposed, because all you put out was adverts, that's all. Until my expose that you were selling to a minister, nobody knew that. These financial statements, nobody knew that. You were hiding all of this from the Ghanaian people. So there are so many, and Ghanaians know. Ghanaians know. Organized labor have time without number commended me that what I put out, even they have been asking at the board level, and SNIT refused to give them all of that information. So I don't care if she doesn't want to give me any credit for the parliamentary oversight that we have done. I don't care. What we are doing is not for personal glory. We are trying to serve our country as the constitution expects of us and as the Ghanaian people expect of us. So she can go on and on about me doing nothing. I don't mind. But the point I was making is that now Freddie Blay has told us that his son, the CEO of Spartan Ives, who also put in a bid, and interesting, was one of the 6 shortlisted companies by state. They have revealed that their bid was between 150 and 200 million dollars. Can you believe that? So the bid by the 34-year-old son of Freddie Blay, it is another matter how, and we know that it's quite interesting, how the young man could raise all of this money, but that's okay. They say they can justify how they raise this money with their business partners and all of that. So that's okay. But the government of the issue is that they offered 150 to 200 million dollars. Why has NIT been lying to us all along that they haven't seen any higher bid than what Acheampong offered? And that is why, despite the conflict of interest concerns, they gave this bid to Acheampong. So, a third major issue that the Honorable Elizabeth Ohene deliberately refuses to address. Number 4, there is another major issue about the procurement breaches. The procurement breaches. Look, under our law, when you start the procurement process, you say that you are carrying out a tender for 6 hotels. You describe the nature of the tender. If you change it, you must start afresh. Why was the Honorable Acheampong allowed to select the top 4, the best of these hotels, and then he abandoned the 2, Buzia and Trust Lodge? That ought to have immediately ensured that the procurement process starts afresh. Then, still on procurement issues, it has now emerged, after we intercepted the GRA filings of the Honorable Acheampong's Rock City, it has emerged that when Rock City put in the bid, they have not filed their taxes for 2 good years. 2 good years they had not filed their taxes. When you don't file your taxes, your annual corporate income tax returns, you are not issued with a tax clearance certificate. And under our procurement laws, under the Income Tax Act of 2015, every bid for any government contract, any government project, and if you read states on advertisement, their pre-qualification requirements, they themselves stated that you must have a GRA tax clearance certificate. Mr. Mr. Bryan Acheampong, pardon me, did not have a tax clearance certificate, at least a valid one. Because if you haven't filed your taxes for 2 years, they should come and tell us that probably one was forged and they didn't do their due diligence. That itself is criminal, and it means that somebody ought to be prosecuted between Rock City and SNIT. Major issues that have not been addressed. Then finally, the Honorable Elizabeth Ohene seeks to create the impression that, oh, you know what, we are a law unto ourselves. We don't take instruction from anybody. We don't account to anybody. We didn't need the president's permission. We don't need the president's approval. We are doing everything on our own at SNIT. My goodness, nothing can be more dangerous. The president appoints all of you. You are all accountable to him. Even if you read your own laws, you must prepare annual report, and give it to the minister, who must then give it to the president and give us a copy, give parliament a copy. When I say us, parliament, read SNIT's own laws. So this business that you don't report to anybody is even against your laws. So when from this Chinese war that the Honorable Elizabeth Ohene is creating, a Chinese war,